Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is I Allegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because I don't feel good about this. And we got a lot to talk about. So please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. And it's not an April Fool's joke, guys, but I just don't feel good about everything that's going on in the economy right now. And there's a lot of reasons why people need to prepare themselves for what's coming, to say the least. And it's funny. We've lived through such a wild time over the course of the last 5 years. This week will be my 5-year anniversary here on YouTube, and as people that I've done business with, sponsors, and different people I've interviewed have all stepped forward. There's been a lot covered. That we've covered as far as business, everything. But one thing that's happened is we've just seen so much from COVID to different things that have happened, the great resignation where people got sick of working, people my age and older got sick of working for the kids. So they went out and quit. I'm not going to do this. Great resignation. I'm just going to live on the money I have. And they went home and took it easy and then realized, I don't have enough money to do nothing for the rest of my life. And again, the happiest people that are retired are the people that basically are retired, don't need to work, but still do things and still make money. And I'm going to give you an example of a buddy of mine that made a bunch of money today. And anyways, we also saw, the big stay where people were, hey, listen, just stay at your job, do the minimum, don't give them anything good, and it'll all work out. No, guys, don't do that. How terrible is that? I'm just doing the bare minimum just to stick around. If I do this, keep my job, get my paycheck, no. Have an ounce of, pride, an ounce of, feeling good for the company that you work for. I'm on the cliffs in Laguna. It's just absolutely beautiful today. You know, I just, I'm sick of all these different names for everything. One thing that's really clear is that people are fed up right now. People are tapped out. They've borrowed more money than ever in their lives and in their companies. And with that being said, they're just not living a good life. They're in debt, trying to make the minimum payments. And guess what? The first just rolled around again. And I know a lot of people that are stressing out right now because we got to pay these bills. But this time it's different because this time I think that this is where it's going to crash. I think this second quarter, this is where you're going to see, like I said, more businesses shut down between now and 4th of July. You're going to see a lot of people, get real with things. Think about this. There is a news channel called Newsmax, and my commercials ran on Newsmax, so I'm super familiar with them. And they were an independent news channel that decided to go public, so they sold private shares and then went public yesterday. Opened the stock at $10 a share. It immediately shot to 14 when it went to the public, and then it closed that day at $82 a share. Hello, 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 hello. Now there's another company called CoreWeave that is tied to NVIDIA, and it's AI, and this AI play is something that, oh my gosh, they're gonna raise $1.5 billion. The stock opened at 40 and dropped down to, last time I checked, $38 a share. Okay, well, it just was a dismal failure. Newsmax, company's now worth $7 billion for this independent news channel. Hello. Unbelievable. You could have bought shares in the company early, and I didn't. Okay, so I'm not telling you I made money on that because I didn't. I have a buddy of mine who said, you know what, I'm getting in. Got in at 16, sold at 30, and then said, maybe I got out too early. Got back in at 32 and chickened out at 50, and it closed at 80. And he made a bunch of money on that by just getting in, getting out. But again, everybody's in the same boat. The AI play is not overplayed yet, but 2 years ago, if you had the word AI in your name, look at a domain name. Look at a domain name with the term AI in it. Look at what they're selling them for now. 50,000, 75,000. You could have the stupidest domain name in the world and they will unload it. Mr. Bunny walking by. And they will unload it for an absolute ton. But guess what? It's not that it's overplayed, it's just hyped right now. And people have no money. The, you know, the marketplace is filled with people that realize that the consumer is tapped out. And again, I just don't feel good about this right now. I think you should do everything you can right now to cut back and save money in every way, shape, and form. I know people that are buying houses right now and doing things. If you get a good deal on something, guys, go get it, okay? I had somebody write me about a motorcycle. I've been saving for this for 3 years. Finally got the deal. I went, go get it. Go get it. Don't listen to me. Just don't finance it like an idiot at 22%. Go get the motorcycle. Go get what you want to get. You saved your money for it. Go do it. Are you getting a tremendous deal? Go do it. I have a girl that I dated that was upset that I told her I like to buy used cars. Why would you buy a used car when you could afford a new car? Because I don't want to pay, something and have it drive off the lot and have it lose, $25,000 the second I leave the lot. Wouldn't you rather see somebody else go? And I was giving her examples of cars she thought I would look good in, and how if I bought something used that had 18,000 miles on it, I could save $25,000, and it just blew her away. Why would you do that? I know a guy that runs a gold company. Let's put it that way, and he went out and bought his wife a car, and just got a tremendous deal on it. Okay, $20,000 off what they were looking at from other cars because they walked in, made a cash offer, and that's how you should do it. Okay, that's it. But if you're gonna buy it, buy it. Now, CoreWeave, those poor people that invested all that money and thought that this was going to be another Nvidia, no. But is respectable news good? Clearly somebody thinks so. So today's a new day. We'll see what happens with that. Rocket Mortgage is going to buy Mr. Cooper. Now, Mr. Cooper is a mortgage company that processes mortgages and you send your payments in. The girl that I was dating told me that Mr. Cooper had taken over her mortgage. Now, between the two, when Rocket Mortgage takes over Mr. Cooper, 1 in 6 mortgages in the United States will be run by this one company. 1 in 6. Now, the problem with this is if you have a problem with things like a hack or service or anything like that, you're dealing with one company. Is that a good thing? You tell me. I sometimes don't think it is, So let me know what you think about that. One thing that people are doing right now that I get a kick out of is they're blaming tariffs right now on spending less. They don't have any money, guys. They're not, I have a bunch of articles. Dr. Marvin sent me a great article about how people are spending less right now and blaming tariffs. Blame tariffs all you want. If you're not going to buy cars, this is kind of an interesting period of time that really a lot of us in our lives have not seen this. But you have companies right now, like let's say wine companies, that product is being shipped in. If it gets here, they don't pay the tariff. If it's on the boat, they're going to have to pay the tariff. That is wild to think about. What a stressful time to run your business during this time. But, you think people just aren't going out and shopping? You think people didn't go to the Chinese restaurant that I was at yesterday because of tariffs? Oh, yeah. The cashew chicken may be more expensive. Those pot stickers may be more. You know what I mean? It's nuts. It's not. I think it's unrealistic to sit there and think that. So there's a lot more to cover in this video, but I want to get down to the beach. It's really, really a beautiful day out here. It's overcast. It rained a lot last night. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. We just came off the worst quarter for the S&P 500 since 2022. Goldman Sachs just downgraded the S&P 500 and their outlook. The one thing that you can count on is that they say it's going to get worse before it gets better, but gold just hit an all-time high. The best place to get yourself into precious metals is Patriot Gold Group. Contact them today. 888-330-1431. Call them today. Get a free investor guide. Have them answer all your questions. Number one rated for 9 years in a row. With good reason, guys. Think about this. We're in full-blown stagflation, uh, an era just like we were in the 70s, and it's only going to get worse. That's what all the experts say. So check it out, guys. Forecasts are calling for gold to hit $4,000 an ounce. You don't want to miss out on this. Call them today, 888-330-1431. I'm not just a spokesman, I'm a client of theirs, a great company. Contact them today. Now, as we enter the second quarter of the year, you can blame anything you want. But from now on, if anybody ever has a problem with you, I don't feel very good, I'm tired, it must be tariff related. It's tariffs. Think about this. People aren't shopping because of tariffs. I mean, come on. You're not buying groceries because of tariffs. Who believes that? I don't believe it. I don't. I mean, it may be one thing if you're going to not buy a car that's going to go up, a BMW or a Mercedes or, a Japanese car, something that's going to be affected. Okay, don't buy it. I read a great article today about how we may see a resurgence in used car pricing, because I'm telling you guys, I have used cars to sell right now, and you cannot give them away right now. Okay, it's ridiculous. You call, Carvana, all those other places that buy cars. No, they want to give you lunch money for it, and it's terrible. QVC, you guys know what QVC stands for? The shopping network. Okay, their revenue, they did 2.9 billion, but the revenue was down 6% for last quarter. And people are not shopping. They're not sitting there for 6 hours at a time buying stuff online. Quality, value, convenience. That's what QVC stands for. But they're rebranding. They're going to change the name to the Curate company, and they're going to completely change everything around. But again, you can talk about tariffs with this, but it has nothing to do with it. Stuff's already sitting in a warehouse that they're selling. It's that simple. It's that simple. One thing that I talked about last week was how I have really good people that send me stuff. And one guy I want to talk about is broker Aaron. He's never said I could use his last name, but Aaron's a real estate broker and sends me all these great commercial stories. And here's something that's absolutely, utterly fascinating, and that is Foot Locker is moving its location out of New York. Again, you guys, states like California, states like New York should be embarrassed when they lose companies like this. They just signed, and thank you, Aaron, for sending me this. They just signed a lease for 13 years to move to a 120,000 square foot location in Florida. Going to go to sunny Florida. Things have never been better for Foot Locker. Now, last week we talked about how Foot Locker may go out of business. Well, it doesn't look likely now. It looks like they're just going to rebrand and regroup and do their thing because people still need to buy shoes. Okay? But again, guys like Aaron that have been around the block, that have leased commercial buildings to people and know how to deal with things and know how to investigate, a neighborhood and a community, that's the guy you want to deal with real estate. So, but, speaking of like moving out of places, Los Angeles, think about this one. The city of Los Angeles has a sales tax that was set to expire today for 1/4 percentage point. But so it's going to go down to, 9%. Isn't that great? What happened was the idiots in LA voted for a homeless tax for 0.5%. Now, all Los Angeles has done is squander homeless tax money. There's $23 billion missing, an additional $2 billion. That's a brand new story that I won't bore you with. But where does this money go when there's veterans sleeping in the streets? These people, politicians, should burn in hell. These people should never be voted in for anything, and you keep voting them in. But the city of Los Angeles just voted a 0.5% sales tax increase to help the homeless. Okay, now you can sit there and say, Dan, that's terrible. It's a very cold thing to say. It's not cold. What's cold is that they're pissing that money away and not giving it to the homeless. It's lying in somebody's pocket. That's the thing about this that floors me. that absolutely floors me. You know, what do you guys think about this? Think the politicians are all good people, honest, have our best interests at heart? No. I'm sorry. No. Did I miss something? No, 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 no. I think that they're in it for themselves. What can I do? How can I make money? That's what I think these people do on a daily basis. Let me know what you think. I want you to think about this because it's a great way to get knowledge, and that is trade magazines, trade publications, trade newsletters that are out there. Think about this, guys. The collision industry, car collision, car repair, dent removal, that type of stuff. They have their own collision repair magazines and things like that. Well, how about this? Collision Week magazine. I got a great story sent to me from them, and it's talking about consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment is down again, okay, and it's been down since the final quarter of 2024. It is not getting better anytime soon right now. Now, but that's not the story that we've talked about that. Here's what the wild story is. Think about this. For the last 7 quarters of the collision industry, and the stories below on this, collision repair is off quarter after quarter after quarter. You mean you're not getting in car accidents? You're not fixing cars? No, people don't have the money to do this right now. The insurance company is doing everything they can to stiff people and not let them get their cars fixed. Do you understand how insane that is? So think about that. Off 7 quarters in a row. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Here's what's funny. You're allowed to surf down there, but you can't swim down there. And when the tide's higher, you can surf over those rocks if you'd like. And if you eat it off your surfboard, you get to crash into those rocks. So let me know what you think about that. And one other thing I want to remind you of is we have a private channel called I Allegedly Live, and you sign up at iallegedly.tv, and it's uncensored content, absolutely amazing, and it's everything we can't talk about here. But check it out today, guys, because I absolutely love doing it. We have well over 250 videos on it. And if you're on the email list, an email just went out, you want to check that your spam filter and make sure you get our latest email, okay? A lot to cover, a lot happening in the economy. You want to be part of that. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. And Laura from Connecticut sent me this one. You know, if you don't pay your taxes, guys, they can show up. You don't pay the sales tax, they can show up. Donut crazies in New Haven, Connecticut, they got shut down, last month for not paying their, giving up their sales tax. You have to pay that, guys, or they will show up. Lesson learned. Ghost vehicles. Think about this. The state of New York is cracking down on all these ghost vehicles where people block their license plates to evade tolls. So what did they start doing? Seizing cars. They seized, 4,000 cars, guys. They're owed over $20 million in tolls that they haven't been paid for. No, that's another way to have, the cops and the feds and the state and all those horrible people show up chasing you. Final story out of Quartz, which I love this one, but I want to ask you this question. Do you care where Oprah shops? Do you care about other celebrities that go to Costco? Well, here's 25 celebrities that shop at Costco, and who cares? Who cares? Okay? And read the list. It'll be the last story in the description, but, some of these has-beens are out shopping on their own because they don't have an assistant anymore. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And unless Oprah's buying me a car, I don't care where she goes. Okay? You get a car, Dan. You get a car. Hit the like button, subscribe. Don't forget, check your email list if you're on that your spam filter if you're on the email list. Okay? Onward and upward, guys. Crazy times right now, guys. Okay? But remember, it's all based on the tariffs' fault. You have a headache because of the tariffs. Your girlfriend's cheating on you because of the tariffs, guys. Don't forget that. Okay? It's all the tariffs' fault.